How could you know love if you've never supported a club? How could you know pain if you've never had your tibia fractured by a defender? How could you know pleasure if you've never celebrated a victory in an opponent's home ground? How could you know finesse if you've never touched the ball with such elegance and curve that it ended up softly kissing the netting? How could you know solidarity if you've never came to defend one of your own when they've been in a scuffle? How could you know poetry if you've never dribbled skillfully? How could you know humiliation if you've never been nutmegged? How could you know friendship if you've never returned a give and go? How could you know panic if you've never been caught on the wrong foot in a counterattack? How could you know what it's like to die a little bit if you've never had to grab the ball from the inside of your own goal? How could you know solitude if you've never stood below the 3 bars 12 feet away from someone who wants to annihilate your dreams? How could you know grit if you've never had to slide tackle an opponent at full speed? How could you know selfishness if you've never taken an extra touch instead of passing it to an open teammate? How could you know art if you've never pulled off a Rabona? How could you know music if you've never sang with the roaring crowd in the stadium? How could you know injustice if you've never been shown a red by a localist official? How could you know insomnia if your club has never been relegated? How could you know hate if you've never scored an own goal? How could you know what it is to cry, yes, cry, if you've never lost a World Cup final in the dying minutes of a match? How could you know, my friend, what life is if you've never played football?